This episode of the Siam Hockey League News is brought to you by the Big Chili magazine. In this issue, there's an interesting article about the war on drugs in Thailand titled Golden Triangle, Still a Major Source of Narcotics as the War on Drugs Goes High-Tech to Catch Online Smugglers. So we've just finished off our third week in the SHL, and wow, we had some great, in my opinion, we had some great games.
I think this was quintessential hockey when I think of a hockey game. You got both teams with momentum coming backwards and forwards, goaltenders making incredible saves. It was exciting to watch. And both games, it went all the way down to the wire pretty much.
Yeah, I would agree with that, especially in our first game. You have a different opinion on this game, and I definitely want to get into that opinion. We both expected a more offensive game. I'm not going to deny that, but I think the defense in this game was phenomenal, and they really neutralized the attackers on both sides. On both teams,
we were both remarking we have never seen this many. This number of players laying out, blocking shots for their team.
On both teams.
You know, it was just, it almost felt like a professional game out there. You know, you see guys laying themselves out, sacrificing their bodies because they want their team to win. Yeah, and it's not like, there was only 19 shots per team, but it's not because the opportunities... No, let me rephrase that. It's not because the teams weren't being offensive. It was the fact that the defense were playing some of the best defense I've seen in a couple of years, actually. It was fantastic. A lot of really good back-checking. I saw so many different takeaways. One gripe we have, is we want to try and get some more individual player stats for y'all, but that just, you need more manpower to kind of track that. But if you could go back and watch my broadcast, how many times do I say the words and a takeaway, and a takeaway? Oh, excellent back checking by him, and he was able to dispossess them of the puck, back and forth. And then past that, you also, as we mentioned, have people getting in passing lanes, have people getting in shooting lanes, and it made a huge difference.
And offense, this is one of the forwards. This is something, being a defenseman, I love to see because it doesn't happen that often. Both teams. The forwards were back-checking and stopping plays. I saw Jesse stop at least 2 plays. I saw Harrison stop plays. I saw Freeson stop plays. I saw Stastny stop plays.
I was about to say Stastny. I've got a nice view right by I would call it the broadcaster's booth, right?
Yeah.
And he's really sneaky about going right behind somebody's back and just a little quick stick lift, and I got it now. He's very crafty.
It's not that the games weren't offensive. It's just the defense and the forwards, for that matter, were really strong defensively as well.
I think, as you just alluded to, right? Players are more comfortable. They've got better chemistry now. This is our third week of games we've finished. You see them getting more and more comfortable with the size of the rink, realizing the danger of how much a mistake can lead to a breakaway and an offensive chance on the opposite end. This week, we still had some breakaways, but the most goals that I've seen that came from sustained offensive pressure, right? Maintaining that possession, maintaining shots on goal, trying to get some rebounds, some deflections, some screens. And it was just a really fun couple games of hockey.
The first period, the play went back and forth, but not a single goal.
And again, we build this up. Oh, we've got the Jesse and Harrison show versus Ken and Mike and Stastny, and it was scoreless. It was really exciting to watch. It kept the drama, the tension going the whole game.
It did. It really, really did. And the goaltenders, you can't take anything away from the goaltenders. Leo and Ben in net did a phenomenal job, both of them. So you can't take anything away from them.
Highlight reel goals with the glove, with the stick, pads, backwards and forwards going across the ice. And the players, it was interesting to see. There was a few of these tough angle shots, trying to catch them sleeping, So I liked that they were trying to throw a lot of different things, almost throw the kitchen sink, we say at them. Right? So these weren't soft goals, these weren't gimmies. These guys all, I think, played almost as well as you could hope.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. It's, just going back to the first period, watching the play going back and forth, the shots, in the stat sheets, there wasn't a lot of shots that actually reached the goaltenders. There were a lot of shots, though. And like we said, defensemen were blocking shots like you wouldn't believe. And our first goal didn't come until 15-20 of the second period.
Freeson,
Captain, of course.
Showing up. And who's got the primary assist? Kindborn, right?
Yep.
So this is what I'll allude to, in a second, is that, in my opinion, the key difference in this game, everything else being pretty equal, was that the stars for Novotel showed up in this game, and that's you see that right there on that first goal. Who's on the stat sheet?
I wouldn't say the stars from KCG didn't show up.
Let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. I think they played a great game, and I'm taking anything away from them, but I'll rephrase, instead of showed up, I'll say produced.
Yes. Okay. I'll take that.
If you are the guy,
I love Novotel, so I'm not.
Novotel is a great team. KCG is a great team. This prize fight, let's call it, right?
Yeah.
Definitely lived up to its billing. It's just that when you have two champions, right? It's a game of inches, so to speak. We say in football, right? And in this game, right, it's just a little difference between did you affect that shot, and deflect it out of the way, or did it bounce and find its way in?
Yeah.
And so for Mike Freeson, set up by Ken Kindborn, great setup pass by Ken Freeson with a little mini breakaway. Man, we've talked about it before. His hands, he's got such good agility with the puck.
He does.
And he picked his spot and beat the best goaltender in the league, and statistically Leo, you know. So.
And then we had late in the second period, unfortunately, KCG takes a not such a good penalty, high sticking. Got to control your stick.
Yeah.
Got to control your stick, which led to a power play goal.
By none other than
Scotty Hockey. Great goal, too.
It was beautiful. It was excellent setup by Mancorn. Mancorn really made this goal happen. But all the credit, besides the setup, Scott picked his spot, had time and space, had a nice screen in front of him that kind of just blocked Leo's view, and just right in the corner.
Yeah, well, Novotel has done a great job of setting up their power play this game. They really took the time to set up the plays, move the puck around, get somebody open.
Yeah.
And it works.
For hockey fans, if you do watch the game, it's what we would call a bit of an umbrella. They have forwards up near closer to the blue point and the defenseman coming in, so it ends up looking almost like an umbrella shape where they're trying to pass it up and get nice, high-quality opportunities. So I think it's a lot of fun when you have some of that, elements, and it's not so much as we discussed in the previous weeks of this kind of a breakaway back and forth action.
Yeah.
In a bit of a interesting twist, though, they did produce on that power play, but in the other two power play opportunities they had, they actually spent a decent amount of the time in their own defensive zone.
They did. And that you have to give KCG credit for that. A really strong penalty kill as well. Just because Novotel got that one goal, KCG didn't quit.
They played well. And Harrison and Jesse were out there. Sometimes, this is more alluding to professional hockey, sometimes who are the penalty killers? Oh, it's the grinder, it's the bottom forward kind of guys who are out there. That's their time. No. Yeah. Jesse and Harrison were out there. The star-type players, they're out there in the minutes that matter, in the plays that matter.
Yeah, and what sometimes happens is in hockey, you get, we're on a power play, we can take it easy a little bit. And then you put a top guy out there, and they'll score. Yeah. Now, this didn't happen for KCG this time, but it does happen.
Sure. So, interestingly, in this game, as I kind of talked about, is the production actually came from a new player, first time since he'd come out of quarantine.
Yep, just come out of quarantine. Jan Isaksson. Sorry, I apologize.
If we get it wrong, we are the king of mispronouncing names, right? So correct us.
Jan Isaksson, I heard him say that it's been a few years since he's played hockey.
Fooled us.
Yeah. Once he flipped that switch in the third period, there was no stopping him, and he scored. He got the first goal of the night, which was unassisted.
Yeah. Really good individual effort.
Yeah, he was up and down the ice all night, stopping people, trying to compete against Ken. And Ken, although he did have 3 points, he didn't score any goals. So
no, and that's kind of what we talked about. Is after that first game where people are kind of have all the focus on you, kind of like what happened with Jesse.
Yep.
Right. Oh well, I'm just going to set other people up, and that was what Ken did in this game with those 3 assists.
And with just less than a minute left in the game, the KCG ties things up.
6 attacker. They had pulled Leo to try and get back into this game, and Isaksson again winding up in the play here on the stat sheet, setting up Jari Eerikainen Our first finished goal of the season.
That's right. And Jari is great. He can go coast to coast. He can set plays up. He can shoot. So he's really, really a fun guy to watch. And so
just an interesting how in the end, as we discussed a little bit earlier, we had this billing, right? Oh, the stars are coming out, and it turned out to be a first-time player and a role player, a sub, I believe, for Jari Eerikainen. As I said,
he's full-time.
Oh, forgive me. But anyway, both those guys in their first game of the season, produce, right? And brought him back even. But then the very following shift, a backbreaker.
Yeah, you've got Ken, who gets the puck to Freeson, who sets up Stastny. Tough. It's really tough.
When you give these type of players who have the level of talent that they do, time and space, and
they don't need a lot. That's
But Mike was a perfect tape-to-tape pass.
It was
in perfect stride for Stastny, streaking up right in front of me along the near side boards.
Yep.
And he just seeing eye shot. It kind of handcuffed Leo when he was trying to make the save over his shoulder, and just right in.
Right, and as a matter of fact, that's what gave Freeson the Jerky Monster Player of the Game, which we'll talk about. Sorry, not Jerky Monster Player of the Game, the Jerky Monster Play of the Week, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So,
it's a tough way to go at the end there, but as we said, this match really lived up to its billing. Was a lot of fun to watch.
And our Rolling Stone Pizza Player of the Game, first time for goaltenders this year, went to Ben, who had an incredible game.
Well-deserved win. As we kind of alluded to last week, I was saying, it's almost like a Jennings Award you got.
Yeah.
I have been very impressed by Ben and Lance's play. Only 3 games in, right?
Yep.
But very impressed by their play. I think that decision by Freeson, Novotel captain, to say, you know what, I'm going to rely on 2 guys this year. They're going to have plenty of rest, right? They're going to know it's their week coming up.
Yep.
I think so far it's borne a lot of fruit.
It'd be interesting if I'd like to see it go this way in the future. If we get more goaltenders to sign up, I think it would be something other captains would be like, hey, I'd like to try this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, and here's my interview with Ben. I'm here with the Rolling Stone Pizza Player of the Game, Ben. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a hell of a game. Definitely. But we pulled through in the third period. I think we had a great time. Yeah.
What was going through your head at the start of the game?
At the start of the game, it was a little slow. I wasn't too fast-paced, but definitely started to pick up speed in the end of the first period, early second period. So, yeah, it's a great game.
Excellent. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
And in our second game of the night, we had Siam Mandalay facing off against Aware.
Both these teams came in looking for their first win of the season.
They did.
Similar to the first game, it was tight.
Yes.
Right? You had overall pretty good play.
For the first 2 periods, It was really tight.
Similar to previous week, you saw, you and I have said it, how many times can we say it? Aware, you look at the roster, you go down that list of names, and it's talented. They have good players, and it's just they haven't
Let's go through this list. Okay, we've got a great role player and a forward in Devon. You've got a great defenseman who can rush the puck in Tor. You've got another playmaker and can also put the puck in that, Brendan Vick.
Yep.
You've got John Sheknovsky,
president of the
league, who can camp out in front of the net. If you don't move him, he's going to put the puck in. You've got another strong defenseman, Jaron. You have Roman Laren,
arguably one of the best goaltenders, the defenseman in the league.
One of the best defensemen in the league, but can also carry the puck and can score.
Yep.
You've got your grinder, David Bohr. You've got Peem, who was out this week. You have Dennis, another strong, fast defenseman. You've got Captain Justin St. Denis, who can do it all. When he's up, you've got Masato, great forward. Masato isn't used to playing center. He's playing center this year, and he's doing a great job. He's learning the role. You know what I mean? And he's learning on the fly. He's doing a great job with it.
Haven't even now mentioned Roger.
Roger, who's
rookie phenom.
Yeah, I mean he's so you've got Roger, who's a great young Thai star, and then you've got Arno, who consistently plays good games year in, year out.
There is not a single hole in that roster. Those are all. There's not a single. Excuse me. There's not a hole. There's a sieve.
That was
a low blow. No, but point being is that you look at the forwards and defensemen on that team. Quality
solid,
team
all the way.
All the way. It's just a matter of meshing and putting that team together. This is kind of how I felt about a couple seasons ago, I believe, with Hertz. They had Mike Wilson captained that team that year, and it was a good team. It's just they had a little bit of bad bounces.
Sorry, it was Justin. It was Justin who captained.
It was Justin. Okay, forgive me. That one.
But still,
Justin was the following season, or Mike was the previous season. But anyway, point being is that they had a good team on paper, and it's just you need some chemistry. A couple of weeks you have a bad bounce. You hang your head, and as we discussed, those losses start to pile up. And it just kind of feels 3 games into the season that Aware is just getting a little bit snake bitten.
That's possible. I mean, and I like Gabor, and Gabor can be one of the best goaltenders in the league. But if you get inside his head, once you get inside his head, his game is done. But he held on for 2 periods. I mean, 12 seconds into the second period, finally, we had a goal from Patrick Forstner.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
One of the best players as well. On
great
the Thai
sub.
Side, great sub. And you mentioned, I think, last week that he's until
if I'm not mistaken,
Mike White comes back.
Not Mike White. Corey Day.
Forgive me, Corey Day.
White Walker line.
Yep, White Walker line. That's right. Until he comes back. But anyway, point being is that Patrick's a good player.
Yep.
Was able to get the goal here, and this is again a full period into the game.
Full 2 periods.
Played well.
Yep, almost a full 2 periods.
So, but then you let that one in, and you kind of hang your head a little bit, and things just start to get a little bit worse.
You get Tan, unassisted goal. You get Yin, unassisted goal. And in between those two, Aware tried to come back and get a goal from Justin.
Yep.
But here's one of the killers. Okay. At one point in time, Aware had a 5-on-3 power play. They couldn't set up the power play. They tried, they just couldn't do it.
When you have a golden opportunity, and I think at least 2 minutes, or not 2 minutes, but at least a minute and a half of 5-on-3 time.
Yep.
And almost immediately on the puck drop, I believe that Siam won that, throw it down, so you got to come back, go get it back again. But then there was, as your point, no real game plan, no setup of, okay, this is our goal, how are we going to try and get them out of position? It was just kind of, throw it around a little bit.
Throw it at the board. Let's throw it at the net. Throw it at the net. Throw it at the net.
Let's have a stretch pass, and then, as we've discussed, if you're not, crisp enough, there's so much spacing out there, it kind of nullifies the effect of having the extra players there, because you have to spend time going and chasing the puck again.
Yep. And if you're just throwing the puck at the net with a goaltender like Dream, this is his first game back, he's going to stop it.
In small defense for Aware, I will say that they lost about 40 seconds of power play time, not the 5-on-3, but 40 seconds of power play time, because there seemed to be some kind of a discrepancy with the officials. They were talking about what to do. So I will vouch for them and have, that's a legitimate gripe, when you lose significant amount of power play time like that in a tight game. They're trying to get back into it. But that being said, when you had the time to produce, when you were on the ice, you just couldn't quite put it all together.
No. And again, I think if they can put these games behind them, and I don't know if they have to go out and as a team have a beer. I don't know if they have to go out and skate together. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they have to go out and hold hands. They need to come together as a team.
You need a unified vision. I'm going to totally agree with you. You know what? And part of that beauty of sports is bringing the separate personalities together. Mm-hmm. But if everybody's gonna, say, if Justin's the captain's gonna say, I got to pull my team back into this game, and he gives great individual effort and he scores a goal. Okay, yeah, there's a goal. but then that's not going to make up the full deficit.
No,
you know, you need to have, okay, what's our attack going to be? Who are we going to rely on in this game? How are we going to try and set up our young player Roger, right? He's done really well. How can we build his confidence? What can we do for you, Gabor, right? Hey, you're having some trouble back there. What is it that you need from us, right? And instead of this attack, well, pointing fingers back at each other, you need to circle the wagons a bit. You need to come together.
Yeah, I agree. And it's tough. I mean, I see all this talent unaware, and they're struggling. And what happens when they start to struggle is everybody starts trying to do it themselves. And more than any other team sport that I can think of, hockey is legitimately a team sport. You can't do it yourself. Even Gretzky had help.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you.
So it's difficult.
You want to see him do well. You know, my heart goes out to him. You want to see him do well. I want them to.
I did call it. If Gabor can play his game, they'll win.
Yep.
That was the biggest if.
My key for the game was who's going to score first. You know, you don't score first. You start yourself from a deficit.
Yep.
And they never were able to climb out of that hole.
Yeah, that's very true. So, but our player of the game,
well deserved. We barely talked about him this whole time.
No, he did have a great game, because stopping 19 out of 20.
So well, Dream.
Yeah.
First game back, had an injury in the BIHL final, I believe. Scotty told me, and so it took a little time to come back. And man, was it worth the wait.
Yeah, he had a phenomenal game, and he told me when I interviewed him, he was like, "Yeah, I'm not 100% yet." So, wow.
If that's not 100%,
wait till he's fully healed.
Save 19 out of 20 was, like we've said with Leo before, just put himself in good position all night. It made it look
Tracked
easy.
The puck really well, yeah. And so, yeah, he won the player of the game, and I had the opportunity to interview him after the game. I'm here with the Rolling Stone Pizza player of the game, Dream. Congratulations.
Thank you, Kap. Oh, really tough game for comeback. Oh.
And you stopped 19 out of 20 shots?
Yeah. Today I see that many times that they try to one time on me, so I pretend like, I not see him. And okay, when he get the puck, I go suddenly. Really nice that he not noticing.
Excellent. It's a great way to come back.
Yeah, but still not 100%, but must be better.
Excellent. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you, Kap.
As I said earlier, our Jerky Monster Play of the Week went to Mike Freeson. And it was a great setup. If you get a chance to watch the game, it's there on Facebook. Watch it. Do you know the links for you? It's on YouTube?
It's on YouTube. You can go to siamhockeyleague.com and you click on the link for the game summary, and the link to the YouTube video will be right there in the summary. Or if you go to our Facebook page,
it's the link to the Facebook video.
Okay. Well, it's the same, but different.
It's there.
Right?
It's there.
It's there on both siamhockeyleague.com or on the Facebook page, Siam Hockey League SHL, I believe. So, and it's the final minute of the game. So if you don't feel like listening to my commentary, just scroll right along to the end for that drama we had, like we said earlier.
Yeah.
KCG, sixth attacker out there, ties the game, all the momentum's up with them, and on the very next shift. All credit to Ken, Freeson, and Stastny for burying it.
And here's Maddie talking about the Jerky Monster Play of the Week.
What is up, SHL enthusiasts? Jerky Monster Play of the Week goes to Mike Freeson for his sweet pass over to Stastny for the game winner to keep Novotel undefeated. Way to go, Freeson. You can link up with Dom and get your beef jerky. See you guys next week.
So our next night of games is this Sunday already, November 8th. In our first game of the night, we have KCG versus Siam Mandalay.
I'm looking forward to this one because Siam Mandalay now with their first one of the season.
Yep.
They've got Dream back, got a bit of confidence, right?
Yeah, I definitely see that. I mean, they were a different team when they came off the ice on Sunday night.
I totally agree with that. Really felt it.
Can KCG come back, bounce back after that loss?
I think they can. You know, we've given them their fair share of digging. You know, star players need to produce, right? You've got Dream now. He's a great goaltender. He's got the pedigree. He's got a couple, I believe, SHL titles under his belt. So just like when you're facing off against Leo, one of the top goaltenders, what do you have to do? You got to get pucks on net. You got to get screens.
You got to do more than you got to have accurate pucks on it.
Fair
you
enough.
can't, because a few years ago, I can remember guys were putting pucks on net and against Patrick Leduc, and they were putting it in his chest.
Yeah, if you aim here, it's just not it's not a bullseye, guys.
But KCG having Jan, I think he can be a game changer as well. So now you've got to add to everything that KCG has. You throw Jan into that mix.
Should be exciting to watch. It's going to be a bounce back game for them. I think that might be the edge there. We'll see. It depends on how well the goaltenders play, because on the opposite end, you got KCG with Leo, versus Dream. That should be a pretty fun game to watch there.
So who are you going to go for in that game? You normally ask me. I'm asking you this time. Who are you going for and why?
Like I talked about, I think Siam, I'm really happy for them. But, when I look at that roster, I'm a guy who says, I'm looking at paper, I'm looking at, if I have to pick, one next to the other, I can't really pick against Jesse, Harrison, Leo, statistically still the best goaltender in the league. I think I give them the small edge, but I'm really encouraged by Siam Mandalay's play. We talked about it for the first two games. Set up Yeen. You've got a guy, not just Yeen, but other guys in the back end who have good shots, and they finally were able to do that in this previous week. Paid dividend. Yeen got a goal on a nice screen look. Gave these guys opportunities to be successful. I think CM plays better. I think they make it a close game, but just with a slight edge, with Leo in net, with the talent they have on their defensive team, KCG, with the talent they have offensively with Jesse, with Harrison, I give a little edge, a one-goal game, I'll call it, for KCG.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I'd like to see CM really take this win, hold on to that, and come out on fire. And I think they have the talent to do it. With Wilson, Forstner, Darius, Holm, Tan, Dream in the net, Yeen, Non.
Ernesto got out there.
Ernesto was out there, yeah.
Turner's a good player as well.
He is.
And Alistair's got great speed.
So it's like, and Alistair's got great eyes as well. Do you know what I mean? So I think if CM can control Harrison and Jesse,
it's a big if.
It's a big if. But if they can control one of them, then that will neutralize the other one. They have to control him, not just prevent him from producing. They have to control him. Then I think they can come out on top. But I will agree with you. I think it will be KCG by one goal.
So I think it's going to be a good, tight game. That's what I'm expecting.
And in our second game, Aware versus the Spitfires. For me, this is quite simple.
I don't want to say it.
Aware is in a bit of a hole right now, and I think they're going to continue to spiral out of control, and I think the Spitfires are going to dominate them. It's going to be, I'll say, 3 to 4 goals.
Yeah, on paper, that's just a really tough matchup. This is a revision of the first game of the season, that 7-4 barn burner that we had. Yep. So it is possible for Aware to put up good numbers. It is possible for them to play well. But what is possible and what is reality haven't seemed to meet up for them so far.
If Gabor can play a full game and not let the Spitfires get into his head, not let his own commentary get into his head, if Gabor can sit down and play a full game, that will be the game changer. But that is the biggest if in this week of games.
Like in any sport, everybody wants to get mad at the refs. Everybody wants to get mad at stuff, that was the cause. You can't control that, Gabor, and anybody for that matter, right?
Anybody, yeah.
You control yourself and your play,
and
right?
your game.
And if you, instead of, as I said earlier, pointing fingers and saying, "Oh, it should have been this. Why didn't you draft that way?" Blah blah blah. If you instead say, "You know what, guys, we're in this together. We're a team. Let's show everybody what we're made of," right? That uplifting message, right? is a complete 180 from why'd you play that way? You know,
why did you make that pass? Why did you let that guy get by you? No.
So it's tough, you know, when you're losing, everybody is
you want to blame
at each other's
everybody.
throats.
Yep.
Exactly. And by contrast, when you're winning like Novotel is, they make it look like it's easy. Everybody's smiling out there. They're having a great time. And just because, again, even if Aware had been playing well, I'd probably give the edge to Novotel, just because look at how well they are playing.
They have come together so well as a team. I don't know. Captains, talk to Freeson. Find out what he did. Because KCG and Novotel have gelled as such a powerful teams so fast. And then Freeson took it over the edge last week. So
the quality that team has, you know, so with the prior game you were saying, if you KCG, you control Harrison and you can kind of nullify Jesse. Now what if I tell you, all right, control Ken, all right, and then what's going to happen? What's going to happen?
You've got Stastny. You've
got
control
Freeson.
Stastny.
You got Freeson. Okay, control Freeson.
Yeah, so
and
you've got the forever grinder. You've got the forever grinder in front of the net who's going to pick up every garbage goal he can. Jason Bitter. Do you know what I mean? So if you're throwing pucks at the net,
you got Scotty Hockey, a crafty veteran. You got Menkorn, one of the fastest tie players in the league, right?
Yeah.
That team is so deep.
Yeah. So again, if Gabor can silence his own personal commentary, if Gabor can prevent the other team from getting into his head, Aware will have a chance.
We'll see. The one other thing that I'm thinking about personally is that Lance is going to be in net this week.
Yeah.
And as we've said, I applaud Lance. He never takes himself out of a play. But his style can get him into trouble a little bit because he goes a bit to the extreme. And I'm bringing that up because I think of all the teams, Aware does a really good job of getting those grindy, dirty kind of goals. Where Justin, a player like him, is not, on his end, not going to quit on the play either. He's going to follow up a rebound. John, exactly.
Masato.
You know, they're going to follow up these rebounds. They're going to follow up. They're going to try and, make it an ugly play, and the puck squirts into the back of the net.
You get enough of those.
And that could be the edge.
It could turn into a win real quick. Yep.
But like we just said, you know, it just feels like everything is clicking for Novotel, and by contrast, it couldn't get worse for Aware.
Yeah.
So.
All right. That's all for this week. We'll see you at the rink. The music for the opening and ending credits are brought to you by DJ Caucasian.
The opposite was very strong. I was good.
Siam Hockey League News is brought to you by Big Chili Magazine, the best read expat lifestyle and news magazine in Thailand. It covers interesting issues in Bangkok and the region while bringing its readers engaging stories and various exclusive interviews, food reviews, and more. You can find the Big Chili Magazine in bookstores and online at thebigchili.com.